So, Bruce, a lot of times with our clients, we're working on strategy. And one of the things that they're constantly surveying the market for is who are the up and comers, who are going to disrupt us, how should we think about that, and how do we remain differentiated so we can keep market share? I happen to live on the north side of Chicago. My local place to pick up beer or wine, for that matter, is a place I've been going to for years, and I've become very good friends with the owner. And when I saw craft beer starting to take off, I was very curious about the impact of it on his business. And what he said was fascinating to me because he said, look, it's difficult, it's high margin, but people like a flavor profile versus a brand. So it's hard to get the rotations right and to know what I should be carrying, so I have to listen to my customers. So it's added a lot of complexity to his business, the way I would see it at least, and he would describe it. How do you think about craft beer and its competitive threat to your beer business?
Well, craft beer has been both positive and negative for the beer industry. First of all, from a positive standpoint, it keeps people engaged in the category.
Yeah.
If that was a craft wine business or something like that, that would likely be more of a drag to beer, but it's not. People are talking about beer, they're drinking beer, they're trying different styles, they're interested in brewing at home, they go to breweries. All of those things are really good for the beer category. It's also good for the beer category because it raises the price level. And so consumers look at the value they get out of the beer category. It creates an umbrella for the entire category to have a little bit stronger pricing reality just because now beer has higher value in the consumer's mind.
Right.
And price is a part of that value equation. But there are a lot of challenges with things like the craft beer emerging. There are a lot of craft brewers, and at this point in time, I don't know the exact number, but it's well over 9,000 craft brewers in the United States. And it's really difficult for 9,000 things in the same industry to be differentiated.
Right.
And earlier, we talked a little bit about beer being a branded category, and is one of the success measures for us. So with craft, it isn't. People aren't buying brands as much. They do buy local. And so it works really well to have a local brand, but that's a very different model from what we have. We're a scale operator. We need big brands across the country where we can leverage our national account coverage, leverage our distributor coverage, and to have a number of small brands in small markets or in many markets across the country is very difficult in our business model. So that creates challenges and positive opportunities at the same time. It is also one of the places that we're starting to use more big data. And what we are able to do is to go in with IRI and Nielsen information and determine what SKUs are no longer incremental to the category, what are redundant SKUs in the mind of the consumer. And it gives us the ability to go to retailers and go to distributors and help them manage their portfolio of brands and help them understand, how many IPAs makes the most sense for their business and their location and what that looks like, or how big should their craft selection be. And we help them with their assortment. We do that not only in craft, we do it across the import category and as well as other segments of the beer business. And it really is a situation where we're able to find about 20% of the SKUs in the beer business today can be eliminated because they're redundant. And so when we do that, we help the retailers be able to maximize the value of their category. So it's a great situation where we're using the available information to help make business stronger with independent and chain retailers across the country.
And that's a fantastic value to them because they probably don't have the resources to do that themselves.
No, they know what sells in their store,
Yeah.
but when you look at it, and it's not about how much something sells, it's about the incrementality of each of those items. So if two items are interchangeable, you can get rid of one, you save inventory costs, you save the ordering process and all of those challenges being storage, all of that, and you can turn it into one package. Now it's not typically that, we're talking about taking some place that would carry 300 packages and be able carry 240 packages. So it's not like we're slashing availability for the consumer. We're just helping understand what's truly important to the consumer and offering them those things without having so much selection that it becomes redundant.
It's really interesting. I notice over the last 15 or 20 years that selling has always had a relationship component to it, but increasingly it's got a data and a value-added component where you've got to bring something different. And there have been some provocative things written that salespeople are becoming obsolete, especially in like ERP software sales, because there's this view that the buyer with the ubiquity of information has almost made his or her decision before the process begins. So in that world, what can the salesperson do to add value? In your world, how do you get that correct blend in the talent between the data piece and also the relationship piece, which continues to be important, I would imagine.
Well, the relationship piece is critically important. You know, every great relationship is built on trust. The business that we do with our distributors, the business that we do with retailers is all repeat business. You're in there, you know, 1 week, you're going to be probably walking back in that door the next week. And whatever you tried to sell them 1 week, if it's not working for them 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line, they're not going to be as open to the next thing that you bring in the door. And so there's no question that the sales position has changed dramatically over the course of time, where it was nothing but relationship at one point in time.
Right.
Now with the information that's available, the sales rep has to change. They have to change who they are, and they become more effective when they can bring that great relationship they've already had, and then bring great insights into that relationship with the buyer and whatever it would happen to be. Okay. So that we find that to be really critical. It also, by the way, ties back into the fact of the data insights and action. And so what a buyer may be able to see from the information may not have the right insights applied against it if they only use the lens of their retail environment or their distributor territory. Okay. And once you can apply a broader perspective on that information, you can help them and yourself develop better insights, which turn into more quality actions.
Okay, so a consistent theme in terms of data, insight, action across many things that you do.
Yes, yeah, it is. We use a version of data insights action called what, so what, now what as well. I use that a little bit more internally, but like when I'm working with our marketing teams, they'll tell us, you know, this is what's going on in a test market. So that's kind of the what. Okay. And my question to them is next, okay, so what? So all of those things are happening. Tell me what it means and which ones we should be thinking about.
Right.
And then you kind of boil it down. You create the insights by asking that question, so what? And then ultimately the what is the action. Okay, so now that we know that, now that we see that insight, what is it we should be doing to take advantage of that or to eliminate that threat?